between rupees 75,000 and rupees 1 lakh. Indian Army Chief General Dheeraj Seth awarded Honorary General rank of Nepal Army. President Ramchandra Paudel confers the honorary rank, reflecting the unique military ties between the two countries. On point one, let us in fact take a look at what's happening within the BJP. The BJP has unveiled its new national team under party president Nitin Nabin. Now, the BJP's new team is a mix of experience, young leadership and wider regional representation, with an eye on the BJP's organizational and political requirements ahead of the 2029 Lok Sabha elections. Now, the new team includes 30 national vice presidents and 16 national secretaries. Among the prominent names returning to key positions are Vinod Tavde and Sunil Bansal, both retained as National General Secretaries. Former Union Minister Smriti Irani is back as a National General Secretary, while former RSS Pracharak Ram Madhav has returned as a National Vice President. The team also brings in 3 former Chief Ministers, Vasundhara Raje Scindia, Tirath Singh Rawat and Biplab Kumar Dev. Biplab Dev has been appointed National General Secretary, while Vasundhara Raje and Tirath Singh Rawat are among the National Vice Presidents. Now, the BJP has also focused on regional representation. Phangon Koinak from Nagaland and Biplab Dev from Tripura being representative from the Northeast region. From the South, Deep Purandeshwari has been appointed National Vice President, while M. Venkateshan has been named National Secretary. The BJP says around 40% of the office bearers come from marginalized communities. The age profile also reflects the attempt to combine continuity with change. 6 members are below 40. 15 are between 40 and 49, and 21 are between 50 and 59. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has welcomed the new team, highlighting its organizational experience, energy and grassroots connect.
और निश्चित तौर पर जो पार्टी के विस्तार को लेकर सर्वस्पर्शी सर्वव्यापी के जो संकल्प के साथ में भारतीय जनता पार्टी काम कर रही है, नए लक्ष्यों के साथ में देश भर में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार की योजनाएं नीचे तक पहुंचे और संगठन का विस्तार हो, ये तमाम विषयों को लेकर पार्टी ने संगठन में दायित्व दिया है। और निश्चित तौर पर मैं एक छोटा सा कार्यकर्ता हूँ, लंबे समय से संगठन में काम कर रहा हूँ, इसलिए इस दायित्व को करते करते जो भी संगठन का निर्देश होगा उसको हम 100% सुशासन करने का प्रयास करेंगे।
बहुत खुशी की बात है कि हमारे राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जी श्री नितिन नबीन जी ने अपनी टीम का ऐलान किया है। एक बहुत ही अच्छी टीम तैयार हुई है। इसमें अनुभवी लोग भी हैं, युवा रक्त भी हमको इसमें दिखाई पड़ता है। और विशेष रूप से मुझे इस बात की खुशी है कि महाराष्ट्र से उपाध्यक्ष के रूप में डॉक्टर भारती पवार, महामंत्री के रूप में विनोद जी तावड़े और कोषाध्यक्ष के रूप में पीयूष जी गोयल, इनके जैसे हमारे जो दिग्गज नेता है, इनको भी इस टीम में जगह मिली है। मैं उनको बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूँ, पूरी टीम को बधाई देता हूँ।
We're in fact joined in by Kartikeya Sharma, Managing Editor, also Savio Roderick, Senior Journalist and Editor, Goa Chronicle, Advocate Nikhil Jain, Political Analyst, Arun Anand, Senior Journalist, Professor Ashwini, Senior Visiting Fellow, Center for Policy Research. Over to you, Kartikeya Sharma.
Oh, thank you, Varghese. You know, this reshuffle didn't take anyone by surprise, but it does, create a new team for Bharatiya Janata Party, and the challenges are there in front of them. For example, Uttar Pradesh election is going to be with them, Punjab election is going to be with them, and under the presidentship of Nitin Nabin, BJP is going to fight the 2029 Lok Sabha elections. But what do we make of it? In terms of the people who have been there, people who have been left out. Let me. You have since introduced the guys. Let me say that we go to Arun first. Arun, let me start with Amit Malviya. You know, it's a pretty significant change. You know, I could have started with Smriti Irani. I could have started with Ram Madhav making a comeback, or Vasundhara Raje Scindia, Mr. Bansal being there. Could have done all that. You know, 12 very strong women candidates. You know, sort of dissecting, which has already been done, but locking off account by the new people who have just taken over the IT cell, can't access their back tweets right now, and Mr. Malviya not being there, and Mr. Baluni being there. Arun, how do you look at this?
I think the government and the BJP both have realized that communication which was a strong point of BJP, had gradually become its Achilles heel, which was reflected at its peak in during the CJP protests, because that was a political fight which was supposed to be fought politically. It was not a fight which could have been fought basically by the government, but the party uh, did not come up to that mark, and it was basically a narrative war which was going on. And as I've been saying, the whole protest was being built on Instagram while the party was responding at Twitter or X. So there is gaps. Second, uh, I think Amit Malviya had also and not as an individual, but Amit Malviya had become a symbol of arrogance and also the toxicity, which was earlier related to other parties, and BJP was never like that. And the stories about trolling of BJP sympathizers by the BJP IT cell. So they were galore, and there was no counter to them. And I think had also started interfering in the media affairs. So I think it's a restructuring of the communication because they have also removed the nomenclature IT cell. Now it is the social media vertical. And also they have also made some changes in the media cell also, in the media this thing also. So overall, they are looking to basically restructure their communication strategy. And for that, they needed to restructure their communication department. And also, they don't want to give any message that anybody who symbolizes arrogance or who smacks of arrogance. So I think that person is going to get dropped from the party, whatever may be the importance of that person.
Okay. Savio, very specific question, and then you can take your own position. Piyush Goyal as a treasurer. Now, one party, one post, or do you think that he's going to, function, because he has a lot of responsibilities. He's the key person negotiating the trade deal with the United States of America. Specifically in context of Piyush Goyal, how do you see that, Savio?
Well, I think the political party BJP that I support extensively will work into what I think are the strengths of individuals that they put in particular positions. The reason Piyush Goyal has come in as a treasurer is primarily to do exactly what he's supposedly good at. Whether he continues as the Minister of Commerce and Industry is a matter of a couple of days. We will know when the reshuffle of the cabinet happens as well. So I don't want to speculate on it. Yes, the party works on a one post, rule, but sometimes they have also made exceptions to that rule based on the caliber of that individual and the necessity at that point of time. But what I would like to state also is what this gentleman earlier said. He was very profound in his words. But talking about communication that has been BJP's Achilles heels for the last several years, it has started way back during. But to put the entire blame on Amit Malviya is, I think Amit Malviya unfortunately carried a huge yoke on his shoulders of the fact that he was the IT cell head, and therefore there was a certain narrative situation. And yes, the BJP did falter in that, but that blame cannot be solely put on Amit Malviya. I think Amit Malviya has done a very good job in certain quarters of the strengths that he has, and in certain quarters where it could have been better, it did not happen the way it was supposed to happen.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But on a larger important note, what I think is important is that I think the government is getting ready for very strong dynamics of regional leaders. It's creating its next crop of leaders, which you will see moving for the next couple of years, including the next 5 years as well. And that's the methodology that they are following. First, with the party president, Nitin Nabin, somebody never, if you were to ask many of the people who speculate on positions, nobody would have thought Nitin Nabin would have been the party president. So I think what the party is doing is creating its next generation leader. And Nitin Nabin is leading that. And that's why you're going to see a change, not only in the current a lot of names that have come out. I believe there are other changes that might also happen in the list that are to come out ahead.
Okay. Professor Ashwini Kumar, let me take you through this. Of the 64 total office bearers, 6 members of the new team are below 40, 15 members between the age of 40-49, 20 members between 50-59. There are 12 women among the office bearers, 6 of them vice presidents. Around 40% of the team comes from the marginalized communities across 23 states, which Varghese has already spoken about. These are the details. But, there is also another side. Tell me, do you agree with this? My understanding is that the new team announced by Mr. Nabin has tried to strike a balance between the exigencies of immediate political challenges and the fact that this would also be the team under which the BJP will face Lok Sabha elections. So, by creating this mix, do you think that BJP has tried to has created a mix of both young and senior leaders under a very fresh president? Piyush Goyal, Smriti Irani, Vasundhara, Raje, Scindia. They're BJP biggies, and they work under Nabin.
Kartikeji, let me come back to this. What appears to be a normal and routine organizational transformation and change led by a millennial leader from Bihar, on the surface. But as a political scientist, we look at deep structural, transformation that BJP is also responding as a political party. Let's not forget, looking at the new, demographic composition that you just referred to. I'm a senior, also experienced leaders, cadre-based, leaders coming with a strong institutional memory, along with the new young leaders, regional and other things. But I'm looking at, BJP. You remember that BJP is neither a cartelized in terms of political terminology, nor a faction-ridden political party. So you see the smoothness, the ease with the way the new millennial, BJP chief, the youngest ever, has taken over as the presidency. But this is also, as we all know, that India has entered into, age of aspiration. So BJP is responding to that, with the help of not only Gen Z or millennial leaders, but also, what I call renewal. This is a renewal of the political machine. Let's not forget that BJP is a grassroots political party, a cadre-based political party, and also, an electoral machine, very effective electoral machine. So let me just summarize what I said. For this, organizational transformation and change, there is no Kamraj plan, as some people were talking about, Kamraj plan. So there is no Kamraj effectively plan. In fact, BJP is going for a generational, transformation without any succession plan, because BJP has to, before 29, has to fight at least and win 15, 16 elections, assembly elections. Looking at that, it seems that BJP is becoming a multi-social coalition political party and also responding to the generational challenge in terms of the age of aspiration.
Okay. Nikhil, your opening comments on the change.
Karthikeya, I broadly do agree with Professor Ashwini that this was being touted as some sort of a Kamraj plan, some sort of a major generational paradigm shift, but that's hardly anything that I see in the plan. A lot of the names continue to be retained. Of course, it is indeed a highlight that Amit Malviya has been sacked, and I think that's just
this Kamraj plan, this happened because Surya Prakash wrote an article. I interviewed him subsequently. He used the word that the BJP requires a Kamraj plan, and then subsequently everyone started talking about the Kamraj plan, and people said, why has he used the word Kamraj plan? So there's a point of departure in this conversation. The gentleman wrote it, and since he's associated with the Prime Minister's library, everyone started talking about it, that there's a great purge that is happening. So that's the context of the word which has been used in this.
No, but even with that context, like pretty much everybody who covers the BJP has been touting this supposed new change of Nitin Nabin's team as something that would bring about a paradigm shift, something that would be geared towards the Gen Z, something that would be geared more towards the youth, something that would change the direction and way the BJP leadership is going to function. Be that as it may, I don't think that has happened. Most of the names continue to be retained, and I think everybody who says that there is no accountability in the BJP, including me, I think they should shut mouth, because there is accountability in the BJP. Of course, it's not there in the government, but it's there in the party. Amit Malviya, as the social media czar of the BJP, has completely failed in countering the CJP narrative and all the attacks on the Prime Minister and the government and their and the narrative about them being authoritarian and so on and so forth. And he's been kicked out. Two other interesting things that I would like to point out that probably a lot of people are not looking at is the fact that Shehzad Poonawala's exit comes right before this reject. Raghav Chadha has not been given any new position. Now, I understand that political parties cannot really have Gen Zs as leaders. Gen Zs are too young for that. You can't have a 24-year as a national secretary or a general secretary of a national political party. But you certainly can have people who have greater connect and greater flair with the younger generation, which in today's time is brought by social media. So if there are two leaders in the BJP who perhaps have the greatest connect with the younger generations, whose reels are going viral on Instagram, I think that is Mr. Raghav Chadha and that is Mr. Shehzad Poonawala. One has found his way outside the party and the other has not been able to find his way inside the national executive of the BJP.
I think they have accommodated up. It's just that Raghav Chadha is not there. Another gentleman from
I'm not saying they have not accommodated. I'm not saying they have not accommodated people from the Aam Aadmi Party. I'm saying they have not accommodated the two most visible faces that connect with the under 25, the current college students,
I like to go back to something which Arun said. It's very pertinent. Long time ago, we had this conversation and I was asking Arun, I said things on which the people who have worked in RSS and BJP don't react. But the people who call themselves the supporters of BJP and RSS take a completely different line. And I think that was in conversation when, Twitter trolls started attacking Sarsang Chalak Mohan Bhagwat on ki har masjid ke niche shivling nahi dhoondna chahiye. Coming back to it, do you think, Arun, that there will be a systematic shift in the entire social media thing whereby the people who run it will themselves not be the social media star, but the narrative of the party, BJP, will be the star, not they themselves? Do you think that, this is more about the way they need to deal with it?
I think there are two things in this, Karthikeya. One is that we are overestimating the power of Instagram. Of course, one protest happened because of Instagram. The party is not overestimating the power of Instagram. Yes, but they are giving it, social media is just a part of the overall political strategy. Social media trends do not drive BJP's preferences. And I just want to mention another thing. We often tend to take a stand that younger leaders should be inducted because they would be able to connect more with Gen Z. So I think we need to question this basic premise. Age has got no business to do with connectivity with Gen Z, because we have seen earlier millennials like us, we got more connected to Narendra Modi than Rahul Gandhi, who was much younger, but that's a different debate. But overall, so it is not necessary, especially in the Indian cultural context, because Indian politics is there in the Indian cultural context. So in our cultural context, it is not necessary that only a young person will correlate with the young person, and moreover, the party also has a structure like Yuva Morcha. The office bearers will be announced. So a lot of young faces will be accommodated in the youth wing of the party. But coming to your question, Karthikeya, I think there is an overall, the Sarsang Chalak had also said many a times that it is not necessary that anybody who is opposing you is anti-national. What the narrative which the BJP's IT cell had been building was that anybody who is questioning BJP or the government is anti-national. And the party leadership and the government, Narendra Modi and Amit Shah, probably have realized that this has created a huge discomfort level for even BJP sympathizers, because they also want to question, no government is perfect. So I think overall, they are re-looking at this thing. There'll be more of basically what you call the soft power will be used, and it will be more of a positively, rather than doing a counter narrative, they will be trying to build their own narrative, what the government has done or what the party has done for the people. So I think that's going to be the direction.
Savio, before we get into this again, what about your thoughts on Ram Madhav, Vasundhara Raje Scindia and Smriti Irani?
I can't hear you, Karthikeya.
Your thoughts on Ram Madhav, Vasundhara Raje Scindia and Smriti Irani. Three different people,
Yeah, I can't hear your question, Karthikeya, but what I'd like to share I don't know if you can hear me because the network is really bad. But what I'd like to share is that, you see, at the end of the day, BJP believes that it needs to cater to every segment of the voter base that belong to this country. So, but naturally, every voter base will have to be addressed, and every part of the state, every community, every religious community, every caste-based community, all of them would have to be addressed, because eventually you're looking at an entire body. So the BJP is functioning like that. You are not looking at power circles coming in and taking positions. They are taking radical decisions. And one of the reasons I personally like the BJP is because they have the courage to take decisions which otherwise other political parties do not. Like I'm still saying again, during the time they were going to appoint a party president, nobody had a clue of Nitin Nabin. Nobody. Nobody in the media, nobody in the political opposition. And that's how BJP functions. They are working to a plan that is known to them, which is why even when I'm looking at everyone in a part of this team, I believe the regional focus is something where BJP is going to work very, very extensively. I believe that's the idea, is that to gain stronger positions regionally and then bring those people back to the national level as they strengthen the regional aspects of politics.
Okay. Before I go to Professor Ashwini Kumar, Arun, coming to you. There are four people, Smriti Irani, correct? Ram Madhav, Vasundhara Raje Scindia, Sunil Bansal and Biplab Dev. How do we place them in this entire reshuffle?
It's basically, the thing which is common is their strong ideological commitment and their past record with the party, because there has also been a lot of conversation within the party circle that a lot of people who have made a lateral entry in the BJP. So they are being promoted, whereas the old guard, or you can say the old loyalists of the party, the pre-2014, they are not basically getting their due. So I think first thing is that they have addressed this issue. It is apparent in this list also, and I would fit in, all the names which you have taken to a large extent, basically with this thing. Second is that they have got good organizational skills. Third thing is that they have an acceptability within the BJP. And in fact, you have picked up these names very sharply, because I think this is going to be the core team of Nitin Nabin, the crack team of Nitin Nabin, wherever the elections will be, and also in terms of handling the key affairs, basically. So I think, and all of them have got a very good connect with media also.
I forgot one name, Arun. I forgot one name, Baijant Panda. He has continued, the sixth person, someone who played a very...
The man to be watched, Karthik. He's a man to be watched. He is making a very strong rise. He's rising very strongly in the party, but in a very subtle manner. He reminds me of the Advani era politics. When people, with very strong credentials, but without making much noise. And he's also an example that you don't have to be very active on Instagram or Twitter or calling out names to the opposition. So you can have a very civilized discourse, be not so aggressive, and yet rise in the party.
Okay, Professor Ashwini Kumar, do you think that this is going to be the template? This is going to be the template, softer BJP?
Karthikeji, I couldn't hear your question.
Do you think that this is going to be the template, softer version of BJP is going to be seen in terms of communication?
I think in terms of communication, certainly, I guess, BJP, the way BJP, works through social media, perhaps the only party in the world which has such a, grip over what we call liquid modernity instruments, Instagram, memes, etc., etc. So that way BJP is ahead of all other political parties in the country. But I'm also looking at, the possibility, and which I'm sure that, the leaders, the mix of young and experienced leaders would consider. I mean, like Kamraj plan, no Kamraj plan. But certainly, maybe I can provoke you. Is there possibility of Nanaji Deshmukh kind of a Chitrakoot model? I mean, like given the, research.
So you will have the responsibility to explain Nanaji Deshmukh and the Chitrakoot model both.
Yeah, so I guess, many of us are aware that, it was a very different kind of Kamraj plan. When Nanaji got elected in 77, refused to join the 77 Morarji Desai government, then he retired at the age of 60 and went back to the grassroots and created what we call Chitrakoot model. I guess, in the Chitrakoot model, where the civic volunteerism took deep roots, and, he gave a new model to the BJP from the bottom up. So looking at, his focus on education, rural development, irrigation, agriculture, and most importantly, next generation skill building. So perhaps there is a time where the BJP, the young BJP, I call him a pragmatic BJP president, will respond differently to Nanaji Deshmukh Chitrakoot model, That will, parallel, this will work parallel to, 26, 27, 28 as a machine, as an electoral machine. So this is the strength of BJP, which is quite different from other political parties in the country. So I think, for me, given the age of aspiration, time for Nanaji Deshmukh Chitrakoot model.
I must confess, I haven't read that Nanaji Deshmukh much, but I have read his book Janata Party Q2T, and that was, I mean to say, any person who wants to understand the 70s should read that book Janata Party Q2T. But Nikhil, just to make a comparison with the right now, with the Congress machinery, BJP's organized rejig makes it look more robust, if I may use this adjective. And I know you are not the spokesperson of Congress, but still.
Karthikeyan, I think I'm not really sure whether this organizational rejig of the BJP makes them more robust or not, because the way I see it, it is pretty much the same. The only key difference that I'm really seeing is the removal of Amit Malviya. Now, how that replacement turns out, how efficacious the new person is, do they understand that the tides, at least on social media, are turning? I don't really know. And so far as an earlier point that was made that this BJP IT cell was painting dissenters of the government as anti-national, and that is why somebody like Mr. Malviya had to go. Or another point that Mr. Malviya represented hubris and arrogance of the BJP, and that is why he had to go. I don't agree with either of that, because even Piyush Goyal and Smriti Irani, in at least their public discourse, represent a high degree of arrogance. I don't think there are any examples of humility. Likewise, when Mr. Malviya calls, or rather his IT cell calls the dissenters and the young protesting students as anti-nationals, the BJP president, the millennial BJP president, Nitin Nabin, is not very different. He also likes to call Gen Zs who are not sitting at a BJP rally as Tukde Tukde gang or Desh Virodhi or something like that. I don't think the BJP has really learned the lesson that people are fed up of this 12 years of, stifling dissent. It is at the end of the day a democracy. You need to have pressure walls. And if they really don't get their act together, I don't think 29 looks a very nice picture for them.
Okay, so one name I forgot. Okay, one name I forgot. Savio, Tejasvi Surya. It's like Annamalai type sort of a story. I know he's not leaving the party, but Tejasvi Surya was one of the blue-eyed boys. He has also not made the cut, sir.
Karthikeyan, that's the thing. It surprises me and makes me laugh at times. This concept of blue-eyed boy doesn't work in the BJP. Please understand that. Annamalai was not a blue-eyed boy. Annamalai was a Karyakarta who was supposed to execute a job. Okay. If Annamalai felt bad that he was not getting the kind of blue-eyed treatment that he needed, he made a choice, and that choice has to be respected. Same with any other politician, even Shehzad for that matter. He's a dear friend. But if Shehzad felt differently, and if Shehzad felt that he was a blue-eyed boy, well, everybody's entitled to the feelings, but the party doesn't work on whether you're blue-eyed or red-eyed or no-eyed boy or girl. What it works on primarily is what is your objective at that point of time and who's required to meet your objective at that point of time. No? That's how an organization functions. And BJP functions like an organization. It's not like the Congress. Whether you need Rahul Gandhi or not, Rahul Gandhi will continue. And my good friend Nikhil will say, yes, he's the greatest person on earth. But that's Congress. And Congress is entitled to do what they want to do. BJP, on the other hand, works in an organized democratic manner.
Okay.
Family Raj doesn't work here.
Okay. Before I quickly conclude it, Arun, there is one name which was making a lot of rounds. It's not there. I want a quick thought on it. Anurag Thakur.
I think no, they already have a minister from Himachal Pradesh, JP Nadda, in the government, and he was outgoing president. So they also have to see the state representation. I also get the sense that next year you have Himachal elections, so I think he is being spared for that, and probably he would be without saying it obviously, but he might be playing an important role there, and he might be the new chief ministerial face there. So
It's
I
going
think.
to be like Bittu. Bittu has also not found place organizationally.
Yeah, but Manpreet Singh Badal has. So, some
Yes.
some leaders have been spared for the state also, and then many of the state units are also going to be, probably again reconstituted, and sometimes some of them have been reconstituted, but some of them have to be reconstituted. So they will find basically a space. And Karthike, my last thing is, you talked about Tejasvi Surya. See, not everybody can be given a post in the party. But without giving the post, in fact, most of the work in BJP is allocated behind the scenes to a number of those people who have actually not been given any post, because that gives them the flexibility to really run the show. So they are the eternal backroom boys who run the party.
And lastly, quick comment from Arun, then I'll go to Professor Ashwini Kumar. BL Santosh, I mean to say, he had. I wouldn't say we had created a lot of friction points, but he had a very strong position on a lot of issues.
So I think, BL Santosh, that's a kind of an understanding between, that also shows that that there were rumors about misunderstanding or lack of communication between the RSS and the BJP, and so I think continuation of BL Santosh is an indication that everything is sorted out between the RSS and the BJP. Of course, there will be issues where there will be difference of opinion, but there is no this thing, and that structure is that functioning relationship is absolutely fine. This is, I think, the key takeaway from BL.
I'll end this with a naughty question, Professor Ashwini Kumar. Whose team is this? Nabin's team, Amit Shah's team. Whose team is this? Modi's team. छाप किसकी लग रही है इसमें?
I think is certainly the chap of the senior leaders. I mean, like the top two leaders. But there is a difference here. There is a difference that it seems like BJP is becoming more rainbow political party, and becoming far more moderate. Look at all the people who have been chosen to represent what I call the renewal phase of the BJP. They all represent the moderate shade, and that's the beauty of Indian politics and Indian party system, So you're coming to the if you look at the political spectrum, BJP coming around, to the median position. So that's kind of all the leaders today represent that, political moderate positions. Looks like the renewal time for BJP.
Okay, looks like a renewal time. Thank you. I thank you all of you for joining me. But I would say, substantiveness is one part of it. And I know the discussion on the social media is actually on the reject that has taken place in the social media team of the Bharatiya Janata Party workers. And that's where the real conversation is happening. कि नाम क्यों बदल दिया? Profile accounts में पुराने tweets आप क्यों नहीं access कर पा रहे? But that's the way, the journalism has been affected by social media, That's the effect. There's so many other important things, we could have talked about Biplab, Dev, and I could have just gone on. But if you look at the conversation point on social media, it's actually on the IT cell and, continuation of Mr. Baluni and not Mr. Amit Malviya, The talk is around that. Why did one survive and not the other? Varghese.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for speaking on the crucial subject. Meanwhile, let's in fact look at what's on point 2. We look at fresh protests in Manipur over the demand for an NRC before census 2027. Students have taken to the streets arguing that undocumented migrants must be identified before census figures are finalized. We slip into a short break and we will come back with this on the other side.
लास्ट टाइम कश्मीर गई थी ना, वहाँ खाया शहद, पर उसके लिए कश्मीर जाना पड़ेगा। अरे कश्मीर तो जाना, कश्मीर ही यहाँ आ गया।
सुंदर वादियों में महकती खुशबू और रंग बिरंगे फूल, इनमें से शहद निकाल कर जमा किया जाता है असली शहद, लायन कश्मीर हनी।
असली शहद, असली स्वाद।
A single street in Belfast, sudden act of violence, and within hours, a city was pulled into chaos. What began as a stabbing has now ignited nights of unrest across Northern Ireland. Fresh unrest has erupted in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir with large-scale protests. As the guns fall silent in the Iran war, Donald Trump has opened a new diplomatic front in the West Asia. Not with missiles, not with sanctions, but with a bold demand. Uganda has closed its border with the neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo with immediate effect.
A crisis that has shaken the foundation of our education system and left over 22 lakh students in a state of absolute despair.
Welcome back. Now, a fresh protest has erupted in Manipur over a demand that could have major implications for the state's demography and political representation. Students took to the streets in Imphal on Sunday demanding NRC before Census 2027. The protesters gathered outside the Directorate of Census Operations in Porumpat and raised slogans against conducting any census exercise before the National Register of Citizens is implemented. Now, when the protesters attempted to enter the premises and lock the main gate, police used tear gas to disperse them. One protester suffered minor injuries. The protest then spread across Imphal. Hundreds took part in the torch rallies in Imphal East and Imphal West. A large number of women were also part of the demonstrations. The protesters are demanding that illegal migrants be identified before their numbers are included in official census data. The timing is very significant. The census 2000